NHL Trade deadline has come and gone for 2020, and I have Jack with me today. We're going to go over the winners and a little bit about the losers and go over our analysis of some of the trades that took place right before trade deadline. So to start off, I think, one of the bigger trades of the day, maybe the Robin Leonard trade to the Vegas Golden Knights. I think Vegas are a winner from trade deadline. They acquired Alec Martinez as a depth defender a few days ago, but then they acquired Robin Leonard today, the reigning William J. Jennings Trophy winner, and also the Masterton winner.
Yeah, and third in Vezina voting.
Yeah. That's your backup.
That's your backup. So they have the best goalie combo in the league now.
Yeah, like you're saying, you were telling me before, Fleury's not been the best lately, but we know the flower comes alive when it comes to the playoffs. So, what do you think for Vegas as a Stanley Cup contender right now?
I see them winning the West, and I think they have a pretty good chance of winning it all. But Tampa, man, scary.
Yeah, Tampa is scary. Just considering how bad Tampa were at the start of the season, where they were hovering around 6th place in the Atlantic, they have shot themselves into candidacy to maybe even win the goddamn Atlantic, which looked impossible a couple months ago. I think the Lightning are the best team in hockey.
On the roster, by a mile.
By far, that's the best team in hockey. Just based on player personnel, they're right now they've got a couple injuries to deal with, and it could get to the point where a guy like Luke Shen is getting. Wait, is it Luke Shen? Why am I?
Luke Shen.
Yeah. We're getting to a point where Luke Shen or Braden Coburn are going to be healthy scratched once some of these injuries come back. So, if you have the ability to scratch a guy like that or one of the guys like that, you are a scary team on defense, not to mention how you have one of the, if not the best forward core. I would argue that it is the best forward core.
Yo, absolutely.
In hockey. Unbelievable. Like Stamkos, Point, Kucherov, and then Coleman, Cirelli, Killorn, then Andre Palat, Tyler Johnson, Gord, Maroon, Goodrow, Verhaeghe isn't even a bad fourth line either. That based on Daily Faceoff, that's the best fourth line in hockey.
And I really liked their move for Blake Coleman. Nolan Foote, first rounder last year, 27th overall, and a first round you gave up for him. But this is the year. It has to be this year, right?
Well, we were saying that last year, but
they've still somehow managed to keep them.
Yeah, D-Corps is missing Ryan McDonough, but when he's back in, it gets even better. Already with Hedman, Shattenkirk, Sergachev, and Cernak, along with Coburn and Shen, like I was saying before, but Ryan McDonough pencils in somewhere in that area. I think that, I was saying before, a while ago, I was saying the Avalanche and Boston are probably my favorites to get to the Stanley Cup. Based on the Avalanche being pretty inactive coming out of the deadline, I don't think that they're going to be able to keep up with some of the other teams on the cards. Tampa are looking great. That Boston series is going to be huge. I think Tampa's going to mow through the first round of the playoffs. If they play the Leafs, they're going to fucking kill them. If they play the Panthers, I don't think the Panthers are going to be able to keep up with them either.
They're going to have to get by Boston, though.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's why it's hard to pick them to come out of to win the whole thing just because of that.
Yeah, and also we know Tampa's struggle in the playoffs, like we saw last year. Although you won't have a concussed Victor Hedman playing for your team, Victor Hedman was concussed playing in that series. There's no way he was not. So I think they could do it. If we're looking going back to Vegas, what we started with, you've got the best goalie core in the NHL probably, especially when it comes to playoff time. You've got the William J. Jennings Trophy winner, Robin Leonard, backing up proven notorious winner, Marc-Andre Fleury. And they've got a great forward core as well. They've got a decent D core. Vegas, they're in the god-awful Pacific Division. So, yeah, we could see them getting to the conference finals. They're probably the favorites to get to the conference finals.
I don't see them losing to Avalanche. Maybe Blues if they have good goaltending, but I still don't see it.
Yeah, you're telling me before about like you bet $78 on the Vegas Golden Knights to win the Stanley Cup. The payout is $1,000 or thereabouts. I wasn't sure about it at first. Honestly, looking it over now, they've got a good chance. I think that they have a great chance at getting to the Stanley Cup again. The problem is going to be beating one of the teams from the East because they're going to have to beat one of the Penguins, the Capitals, the Lightning, the Bruins. That's where I see Vegas struggling. So I don't know, maybe you want to cash out if they get to the Stanley Cup final. I see them mowing through the Pacific just because like they're on 76 points, and if they were in the Metro, they would be a wild card team. They would be like the 8th seed in the East. Yet they are first in the Pacific. NHL, by the way, needs to switch to a 1/16 playoff format, but that's talk for another day. As it is, Golden Knights, I don't know. They could be favorites to come out of the West. Do you agree?
Vegas come out of the West. I mean, I bet for a reason. Yeah.
Sometimes you bet like just to kind of get the payout, but do you see them as the favorites for the Cup?
Yeah, I definitely say that they're favorites. At least the favorites to come out of the West.
Not just the Pacific, I can see that along with the Blues in that category, but I could lean towards the Golden Knights coming out of the West.
They've got playoff experience. They got outstanding goaltending. Everything's looking right for them. I mean, I know you don't look at this a lot or talk about it a lot, but the advanced statistics all point towards Vegas being unlucky and having like very bad luck. And so if that, eventually over time,
they had a bit of bad luck in last year's NHL playoffs.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying in this regular season, the record
okay.
should be a lot better than it is, even though they're kind of tearing it up right now. 6 straight wins.
Yeah, they're playing really well at the moment. But the Pacific, they could end up slipping a little bit down. I don't see it anymore, especially, they got rid of Malcolm Subban and significantly upgraded in that regard. They're a big winner from the trade deadline as a result of that trade.
I think that was an excellent trade. I think that was maybe the best trade in the dead.
I started off the episode. I said probably biggest trade is the Robin Lehner one, coming for Malcolm Subban, Stanislav Demin, and a 2020 second round pick. So, yeah, big trade. They gotta be very, very happy with that. They're a winner from the trade deadline. The other big winner from the trade deadline is the Carolina Hurricanes.
Absolutely.
They added Vincent Trocheck as well as Sami Vatanen. Makes that team very interesting. They're already very talented. Maybe they're adding new goalie, Dave Ayers, the Zamboni driver. But aside from Ayers as one of their key acquisitions, they added those two, as I mentioned, and
don't forget Brady. Brady, I don't even know how to say his last name. Brady Skjei or whatever.
Oh yeah, him as well. They
gave him first for him. He's a good player.
Even better, they got him as well. Probably gonna play him top 4 minutes on defense, along with Trocheck is a guy who can probably slot into that second line. Like Sami Vatanen is gonna be a big part of that D-core as well. He'll be a top 4 as well, most likely. That's a great team. And they all of a sudden are a dark horse to challenge in the East, if you ask me. And I'm sure a lot of people agree with me in that regard. What do you think about Carolina? They've got to get into a better position. Right now, they are if the playoffs were to start today, they would be the 8th seed. Do you see that changing?
I think the record's going to improve going to the playoffs, and they're going to get a better spot. Obviously, if they stay in a wild card position, they could meet another tough opponent in the first round like last year, but obviously we know what happened there. Carolina triumphed. They're plus 29 goal difference. That is better than Washington's.
Score a lot, I guess. Good defense. They have one of the better defensive records in the NHL, to be honest. They've only allowed 172 goals. That is very good. And their offense just got some extra firepower, and it was already some immensely talented players on that, like Svechnikov and Aho. This is a dark horse. They've got to get themselves into a better position. I can see them surpassing the Flyers. I can see them passing the Islanders, getting themselves into a top 3 spot.
I don't see Flyers staying up there.
No, neither do I. And if the Hurricanes can get into a top 3 place, they're playing maybe the Penguins in the first round. Penguins are a weird one. I could see them winning that series. Just the Penguins always figure out how to get no-name random players to all of a sudden start playing well. Like Brian Rust is having, he's already his career high in points with 49, like well above his previous career high. 49 points in 47 games. So, you got guys like Angelo scoring against the Leafs. Just they call up anybody and they will perform and do them a job. So we don't know there.
Here's my big issue with Carolina. Right now, their goalies are Nadel Djokovic, I think you pronounce it, and Anton Forsberg.
Well, I mean,
Mrazek and Reimer are out, and even if they do come back, I mean, are those the guys you want to?
They're not tremendous. Yeah. That is the problem. That is one of the problems. Mrazek and Reimer isn't awful, but yeah, that is worrisome if you want a deep playoff run. I think they're a dark horse. I just don't think they're in the East. They got to get through the Capitals, and if they do, they got to get through the Bruins or the Lightning. So, I think best case, they get to the conference finals and lose to the Bruins or Lightning, but they're probably first or second round. Probably they could maybe even be a first round exit for them, even though they're a dark horse.
With Mr. Game 7 on your team, you can't really count them out, though.
That's true.
Justin Williams.
That's true. But I can't see them taking down the Capitals, or if they get through the Penguins, the Capitals, and then one of the Bruins or the Lightning. Not
Tampa.
for me.
Tampa would put them down easily. I think.
With that goaltending as well, that Tampa forward core is gonna thrash Mrazek or Reimer, whoever's playing.
Absolutely light them up. Yeah.
Losers from trade deadline. The Toronto Maple Leafs really had to make a move, and the move was not to trade Hutchinson and acquire an AHL defenseman. Kyle Rosen, he's already been a Leaf. He was an AHL guy. It's a nothing trade, and the Leafs didn't do anything else when they really needed to. They really need to shore up that defense, and they didn't. Another big loser, I think, is the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah.
They could have been a threat. They didn't seize their opportunity in a weakened Pacific to go far in the playoffs. You're going to change your opinion on Vancouver Canucks based off this?
Right? A great deal. If you watch the podcast of where I predict Canucks to go to the conference finals, a big part of that was because I expected big moves at the deadline, and we did not see that at all.
Yeah, so
nothing. Just the Toffoli deal.
I never saw it anyway. The Toffoli deal was a good trade, but they needed to do a little bit more, especially with Markstrom being out for an extended period of time. Just Thatcher Demko alone is not going to be enough for that team. But, to kind of sum it up, Carolina is a winner. Vegas is a winner. Vegas put themselves in Stanley Cup contention, I think, with the moves that they made today. If I got to go with my favorites from each conference, I'm kind of leaning toward Vegas. And I am kind of leaning towards the Lightning. And it's bit me in the ass before betting on the Lightning, but I'm leaning towards the Lightning in a Vegas Golden Knight final. It's different. I had the Avalanche going to the Stanley Cup final with the Bruins earlier on. It could be the Bruins still. It's kind of a 50-50 with the Lightning, but the Avalanche didn't make moves, and their competition got so much stronger.
I really think they could be Tampa's year. I mean, after last year, everyone's doubting them now.
You thought it would be their year last year. 60 wins last year, and they got swept. They tied their record for most wins, and they got swept.
They're even better this year, and they're probably not going to be as dumb. You'd hope, at least.
You'd hope, right? But that will end up this episode. Let me know what you think about trade deadline. Who are the winners and losers? Who is your Cup favorite? In the comments on the YouTube video, or at NHL PDC on Twitter and Instagram. But we post every single day on the NHL Sports Podcast. So subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify and Apple Podcasts to stay up to date. And we will see you again for another episode tomorrow.